One of the strongest ideas in the script is that success always has a testing ground. This means no matter how famous, talented, or successful someone becomes, they still have to prove themselves in real conditions, not just on paper, not just in reputation, but in performance under pressure. The example used is a famous performer going to the Apollo Theater, a place known for its extremely tough audience. The point is not just about the location, it's about what it represents. The Apollo audience is known for being honest, direct, and unforgiving. If a performer is not good, they will not pretend. They will react immediately. That makes it a truth stage. There is no hiding there. Now, think about the deeper lesson. Even someone who can sell out massive arenas still chooses to perform in a smaller, tougher place. Why? Because real confidence is not built on popularity. It is built on validation under pressure. Big crowds that already love you don't test your ability. Tough crowds do. That is why real growth often comes from uncomfortable environments. This applies beyond entertainment. In any field, business, sports, education, or career, there are Apollo moments. These are situations where your skills are truly tested. For example, a student might understand lessons in class, but the real test is the exam. A business owner might have a good idea, but the real test is customer response. A worker might look capable on resume, but the real test is job performance under stress. The key idea is simple. Your real level is not what you claim, it is what survives pressure. Another important angle is that testing grounds remove illusions. Many people believe they are better than they actually are because they have never been challenged properly. But when they enter a real pressure environment, the truth appears quickly. This is not punishment. It is clarity. It shows you exactly where you stand, so you can improve. That is why people who want real growth often seek challenges instead of avoiding them. They understand that comfort does not create improvement. Pressure does. Just like muscles only grow when they are stressed, skill and confidence only grow when tested. In the story, even a highly successful performer still chooses to face that test. That shows humility. It shows awareness that success is not permanent unless it is continuously proven. It also shows discipline, because avoiding hard environments might feel good temporarily, but it weakens long-term ability. So the main lesson is this: you don't become great by avoiding tests. You become great by choosing them. Every time you step into a situation where failure is possible, but growth is guaranteed, you are entering your own Apollo stage. And the more you survive those stages, the more undeniable your success becomes, not just to others, but to yourself. Another powerful idea in the script is that hard places build real strength. This means that discomfort, pressure, and difficult environments are not obstacles to success. They are actually the training ground for it. Without challenges, a person may develop talent, but not true resilience. And without resilience, success cannot last. Hard places can mean many things: a tough audience, a demanding job, financial struggle, rejection, or even criticism. At first, these situations feel negative because they create stress. Most people naturally try to avoid them. But the deeper truth is that these environments are where real growth happens. Think about physical strength. A muscle does not grow when it is resting. It grows when it is pushed beyond its comfort level. The same principle applies to life skills, confidence, and emotional toughness. When you are forced to deal with pressure repeatedly, your mind adapts. You stop breaking easily. You start thinking faster, responding better, and staying calm in situations that once overwhelmed you. In the script's context, places like the Apollo Theater represent this idea perfectly. The audience is known for being brutally honest. If a performance is weak, they react immediately. There is no fake support, no polite silence. That kind of environment forces performers to sharpen their craft. It removes excuses. It exposes weakness. And most importantly, it rewards improvement. Now, apply this idea to real life. A person who only works in comfortable environments may never discover their limits. But someone who faces challenges early learns faster. They make mistakes, get corrected, and adjust. Over time, they develop something that comfort alone cannot create: mental toughness. Hard places also build confidence, but not the fake kind. Real confidence is not, "I hope I can do it." It is, "I have done difficult things before, so I can handle this too." That confidence only comes from experience in situations where failure was possible, but you survived anyway. Another important point is that hard places teach humility. When you struggle, you realize you are not as advanced as you thought. That realization is not negative. It is necessary. It prevents arrogance and pushes you to improve. Many people plateau in life not because they lack talent, but because they avoid situations that would show them their weaknesses. There is also a long-term benefit. People who go through hard environments become adaptable. They can handle change, pressure, and uncertainty better than those who only lived in comfort. In today's world, adaptability is often more valuable than raw talent. The script also highlights that even successful people intentionally go back into hard environments. That may seem strange, but it is actually strategic. They understand that if you stop challenging yourself, your skills become stale. Growth does not continue automatically. You have to keep placing yourself in situations that stretch you. So the central lesson is simple. Hard places are not obstacles to avoid. They are training grounds to embrace. If you stay in comfort, you stay the same. If you enter hard places and survive them, you evolve. And over time, those hard experiences become the foundation of your strength, confidence, and long-term success. One of the most important truths in the script is that what looks like easy success is almost never easy. From the outside, people often see fame, money, confidence, or recognition and assume it came quickly or smoothly. But behind almost every visible success is a long history of struggle, failure, and invisible effort that most people never see. This idea is powerful because it corrects a common misunderstanding. Humans naturally focus on results, not process. We see the final version of a person, the successful comedian, athlete, entrepreneur, or speaker, and we assume that is how they have always been. But in reality, that final version is built through years of difficulty, rejection, and repetition. In the script, this is illustrated through the idea that a successful performer still had to go through difficult stages in their career. What people don't see are the years when things did not work. The small shows, the empty rooms, the financial stress, the uncertainty, and the moments of self-doubt. Those periods are not separate from success. They are part of it. This is an important mindset shift. If someone believes success is instant, they will give up quickly when things get hard. But if they understand that struggle is part of the process, they will stay consistent longer. And consistency is often the real difference between success and failure. Another key point is that struggle builds the foundation of skill. When someone is repeatedly challenged, they are forced to improve. Early mistakes become lessons. Early failures become adjustments. Over time, those adjustments compound into mastery. So what looks like natural talent is often just developed through repetition under pressure. There is also an emotional side to hidden struggle. During the early stages of any journey, people often feel unnoticed or underestimated. That can be painful, but it also removes pressure. When no one is watching, you have space to learn, fail, and grow without judgment. Ironically, That quiet period is often where the strongest foundation is built. The script also points out something deeper. If people could see the full journey before it happens, most would quit. That is because the process is harder than the result looks. If someone knew how many failures, sacrifices, and uncomfortable moments were required, they might not start at all. But because the future success is hidden, they begin. And that is what makes growth possible. Another important lesson is humility. Understanding that success is built on hidden struggle helps people respect their own journey and others. It prevents comparison based only on outcomes. Two people may be at different levels, but their paths may have very different difficulties. So the central idea is this: success is not a moment. It is a long accumulation of unseen effort. What looks easy now was once difficult. What looks natural now was once confusing. What looks confident now was once uncertain. Every visible achievement carries an invisible story of struggle underneath it. And recognizing that truth changes how you approach your own goals. Instead of expecting quick results, you begin to respect the process. Instead of quitting early, you start to see struggle as proof that you are still building something real. A central message in the script is that your life journey is not random. It is necessary. This means that the experiences you go through, even the painful or confusing ones, are not wasted or meaningless. Instead, they are part of a structured process that shapes who you become. Most people judge their journey by comparing it to others or by wishing it were shorter or easier. They look at successful people and assume those people took a straight path. But in reality, almost no meaningful success comes from a straight path. It comes from detours, delays, failures, and corrections. These are not accidents. They are part of development. The idea here is that growth requires experience, and experience cannot be downloaded or skipped. It must be lived. That is why your journey includes mistakes, wrong decisions, and setbacks. These are not signs that something is wrong. They are signs that you are learning through reality instead of theory. For example, when someone makes a bad decision in relationships, finances, or career, it often feels like a failure. But later, that same experience becomes a lesson that prevents bigger mistakes. Without that earlier failure, the person would not have the wisdom they now have. So what felt like a wrong turn was actually part of building better judgment. The script also suggests that if people could see their future success in advance, including all the difficulties required to get there, many would refuse the journey. That is because the process is often uncomfortable, uncertain, and slow. But because the future is hidden, people continue forward step by step. This is what allows growth to happen. Another important point is that your journey is customized. Not everyone goes through the same sequence of events, because not everyone is meant for the same role, outcome, or responsibility. Some people need more time, more failure, or more struggle to develop the strength required for their purpose. Others may progress differently. But in every case, the path is designed to produce the right internal transformation. This idea also removes regret. Instead of thinking, "I should have done things differently," it reframes your mindset to, "I went through what I needed to go through to become who I am." That does not mean every choice was perfect, but it does mean every experience contributed to your development in some way. There is also a deeper emotional lesson: trust in timing. When life feels delayed, it is easy to assume progress is not happening. But often, development is invisible. While nothing seems to be changing externally, your skills, mindset, and maturity are still forming internally. Like training for something important, the preparation phase may feel slow, but it is essential. So the main idea is simple. Your life is not a random sequence of events. It is a necessary path of development. Every experience, good or bad, contributes to shaping your character, discipline, and understanding. When you stop seeing your journey as a mistake and start seeing it as a process, you begin to gain patience, clarity, and confidence in your direction. One of the most practical lessons in the script is that real success takes time, not shortcuts. This idea challenges the modern mindset that looks for fast results, instant money, quick fame, or overnight transformation. While shortcuts may seem attractive, they rarely lead to lasting success. Instead, they often create unstable results that collapse under pressure. At the core of this keynote is the principle of development. Anything valuable in life, skill, reputation, wealth, or mastery, requires accumulation. And accumulation always takes time. You cannot compress experience. You cannot skip practice. You cannot bypass the repetition needed to build competence. Time is not just a factor in success, it is a requirement. The script emphasizes that people often misunderstand this process. They see someone successful and assume there must have been a shortcut. But what they don't see is the invisible timeline behind that success. Years of learning, failure, adjustment, and persistence. What looks like a sudden rise is usually a long preparation that finally became visible. Shortcuts are tempting because they promise results without effort. But in reality, they remove the very thing that creates strength: experience. For example, someone who tries to rush success without building skill may reach a certain level quickly, but they lack depth. And when real pressure arrives, that lack of depth becomes obvious. Time also plays a role in building credibility. Trust is not created instantly. It is earned through consistency. When someone shows up repeatedly, performs consistently, and improves gradually, people begin to believe in them. That belief cannot be forced. It develops over time. Without time, there is no proof of stability. Another important aspect is emotional maturity. Quick success often does not give people enough time to develop resilience. But when success is slow, a person learns patience, discipline, and emotional control. They learn how to handle rejection, delay, and uncertainty. These qualities are essential for long-term stability. The script also highlights a common frustration. People want results at the level of experienced individuals, while only investing beginner-level time and effort. This mismatch leads to disappointment. It is like expecting mastery without practice, or expecting wealth without years of value creation. The timeline must match the goal. There is also a hidden advantage to slow growth. When progress is gradual, a person has time to adapt, learn from mistakes, and refine their approach. This creates stronger foundations. Fast success, on the other hand, often skips this refinement phase, which can lead to collapse when conditions change. So the central message is clear: you cannot rush meaningful success. Time is not your enemy in growth, it is your tool. Every day spent learning, practicing, and improving is building something that cannot be taken away easily. Even when progress feels slow, it is still progress. And over time, that steady accumulation becomes the difference between temporary results and lasting success.